Yeah, there's still a few things I need to whine about with the Nintendo Switch 2 that I forgot to cover in the video earlier. New Kirby Air Ride game, I'm so happy. Yeah, hopefully you have $200 lying around so you can buy it. I'm exaggerating, you only need 90. I'm kidding, if you want digital you only need 80. Yeah, we'll be doing more more Schedule 1 here in a little bit. I just need I need to keep venting about the Nintendo Switch 2, it's so infuriating, I can't help it. So we'll shoot this shit for a little bit, then go into Schedule 1. Them acting like adding game chat to the Switch is a crazy feature was hard to watch. So, yeah, I wanted to mention that when I covered it earlier, but I was just so in a flow state insulting them for just the general pricing of the games, I forgot. The fact that they're trying to sell you on game chat is mind-boggling and only goes to show just how truly out of touch Nintendo is as a company. It is shocking. Like, I don't know how you can even exist in this time period and be so isolated from the rest of the world like Nintendo. Yeah, I know, I couldn't believe it, random person. I still won't believe Silksong's actually coming out this year until it literally drops. I still won't believe it. My friends were defending Nintendo today. I've seen a lot of defense of Nintendo today, actually, which is shocking. I've used that word so many times, but I can't think of other adjectives to describe my bewilderment. It is what I believe to be truly indefensible for Nintendo to be charging $80 for standard digital games and $90 for the physical, which is not a physical game. You are buying a box with a code. Basically, you get a little key and you put the key in. They even state your physical copy is not the game. It doesn't have the full game data. You buy the key and then you download it still. And they charge you an extra $10, $90. Keep in mind, when you go, like, let's take, for example, Australia. Australians are going to be paying like $120, $130 per game. I don't know how you can possibly defend it. Now, of course, it's not all games, but it seems like it's every first-party game. So Mario Kart and Kirby are both confirmed to be $80. And I think the trend is going to be every first-party title for Nintendo, which is what you're buying a Switch for mainly, is going to be $80. It's also 144 CAD. Oh my god. That's sickening. You can't fully blame Nintendo, we just got tariffs today. Nintendo's pricing did not happen in response to the tariffs that got announced after the Direct. That's wild, Cope. This had been planned from Nintendo for the Switch 2. Also, let's look at something else here that I wanted to mention today, but I was too busy ranting about the pricing on games. They have a paid downloadable tour of the Switch. Literally, your tech demo is a paid game. They don't even give it to you for fucking free. This is how greedy Nintendo is. Copied Astrobot and couldn't even make it free. Oh, it's disgusting. It's just disgusting. Nintendo historically always been cheaper than their competitors since the N64. This is very shocking even for Nintendo standards. Yeah, that was one of the big selling points on Nintendo for the longest time. The consoles are cheaper. They always have been cheaper than the competition. Now, they're still cheaper, but only marginally. They're not that much cheaper anymore with the Switch 2 pricing. And while, like, the price of the Switch 2 is higher than I thought it would be, like, that'd still be sensical if the pricing of the games was normal. But you have that coupled with now the increased price on the games that people actually really want for it. It's a recipe for disaster. And another thing to note is that the price on the Nintendo games is never going down. Nintendo games from like 8 years ago are still full price. So these $80 games like Mario Kart or Kirby, they will stay $80 for fucking ever. So you're never going to get it for cheaper unless you're pirating it. I already know the games won't run well. Can't wait to play Dusk Bloods and Cyberpunk at 15 FPS and the console catching fire. I'm willing to give the benefit of the doubt based on the specs that the Switch 2 is going to run fine. I know that's crazy, like that's probably a super hot take. I think it'll probably run fine. I really do. I've been very optimistic on the hardware for the Switch 2. NES games were $45 in 1990, which is equal to $115 to $120. It's really not that crazy. We've gone up to 80 from being at 60 for decades. See, I've seen this cope a lot. Why are you okay swallowing shit? What is it about Nintendo's ass that makes their poop taste so good to eat? It didn't need to be increased. And it definitely didn't need to be increased to $90 for something that's not even a physical game. There's just no justifying it. There isn't, no matter how you spin it. You can go back to like the NES and say like $45 back then if you account for inflation. That's your prerogative. But that fails to take into account the rest of the industry right now. Nintendo is the most expensive games now. And they are also the weakest games. Literally, objectively, the weakest games. Like in terms of like hardware and performance. It was entirely unnecessary. And another thing worth noting, in the 90s, there wasn't digital downloads. You had to actually go physically produce that shit and put it on the shelves. Now, it's $80 for a digital download. It's not this one-to-one comparison that you think it is. So you can, like, put your ass in the air all you want for Big Daddy Nintendo to come pound it and defend them till the cows come home, but it's not a good comparison. How do the physical copies of the game work again? You pay $90 for some of the games for the physical copy, and what you get is a key. It doesn't have the full game. They specify it does not have full game data. So what you do is you then take that, you put it in the Switch 2, and it downloads the full game data. It gives you permission to download the full game via the internet. So you own nothing. You literally own nothing. You cannot own any of your games on the Switch. Not all physical copies are like that. Some Switch 1 games already do that. I know some Switch games already do that, and I know it's not for every game, I guess. I guess I was getting a little too doom and gloom on it. But the fact that it's for some of their biggest games is still a huge problem. I don't care if we eliminate physical games. You keep saying they can take them away, but why would they? For real, there's no reason to suggest they would just confiscate a game. Okay, Matt, go ahead and hop on Concord real quick. And when you're done with Concord, go ahead and hop on the culling. Tell me how much fun you have on there. What about Defiant? X-Defiant. You mind hopping on there real quick, Matt? Tell me what's going on. And then when you're done with that, what about Jump Force? Oh yeah, Gundam Evo is another one you should check out, Matt. It's not about them taking your games away, per se. It's not like they're coming into your house and removing your access. Games get taken offline. Games you pay for get taken offline. If you get banned, you lose your games. There are so many ways you lose your games because you don't actually own shit. You own nothing. It's a problem. You're paying for permission, temporary access. You're paying for an idea of a game. No, Switch 2 is still going to sell extremely well. Nintendo cannot fail, and they know that. There's nothing Nintendo can do that would actually ruin them or make them reconsider. Oh yeah, and an extra $10 for physical seems to be confirmed as well. It's just what's not confirmed is how many games are going to be the code in a box physical. But the price seems to be $90 for physical. No, we're playing Schedule 1. It's just I needed to keep ranting about Nintendo because there was a lot that I forgot to talk about in the video today because I was just too steaming on the fucking prices. That shit is so unbelievable to me. I mean, it's not unbelievable. If any company was going to do it, it was always going to be Nintendo. But it still just fucking sucks because everything's going to follow. And you said it would never happen. Okay, I said $100 GTA 6 will never happen. That's what I said will absolutely never happen. I think it's going to happen now. Nintendo has made it very clear. I think Rockstar can easily get away with $100 GTA 6. So, I was wrong. It is what it is. I was wrong. I think GTA 6 will be $100. I couldn't have seen this coming. Not this early. We just made the jump to $70. Just made it. I didn't think they'd be so quick to 80 and 90. And you called everyone in chat crazy. In my defense, you are all lunatics to think that just raw dogging $100 GTA 6 was actually going to happen. Nintendo did it. When GTA 6 drops and it's $100, it's Nintendo that did it. And you guys did not know that. You didn't know it. You got lucky that Nintendo said, you know what? I do want to charge $20 extra. That's not my fucking fault. I couldn't have seen it coming. I was dealing in the realm of reason. Trump tariffs did it, but die on this hill, Queen. Yeah, I'm sure they responded to the tariffs immediately. Before Trump announced the actual amount of the tariffs. Nintendo saw into the future knowing the exact amount the tariff was going to hit them for, and they compensated. An expert gambit. Couldn't tell you, Kamori. I'm not sure. But I can tell you one thing. I doubt the tariffs affect a digital download price from Nintendo. Especially because they announced all of this before the tariff even fucking hit. Have they said why it's so much? Because they can. I am curious if they're going to say anything about the price. My guess is no, they don't need to. They can just drop it and people will just buy it. They don't really need to explain, but I'm curious if they will. I would think not, though. Has Nintendo ever backed down on a decision? I don't know. That's a good question. Have they? I can't think of any instances, but maybe chat can. There's a 3DS price drop. Oh, okay, nice. There's one. I feel like Nintendo doesn't have a community that would protest the same way that PlayStation fans would if they did this. No, there's plenty of Nintendo defenders. Like, even just in chat, there's a ton of them. And I've seen a lot of mental gymnastics to justify and explain how this is actually totally reasonable. So, like I said, it's going to be fine for them, and they know that. Do you think gaming as a whole will see a drop in the amount of players now that prices are going up, as well as the poor quality of AAA game titles? I think so. I think we're very close to the bubble finally bursting. I think we're on the cusp. Nah, gaming is getting bigger and bigger every year. Yeah, but eventually it's going to start pricing people out. I think the bigger games are going to be indie games going forward. As $80 and $90 games become more and more common, I think more and more people are going to turn to indie gaming. Like, I don't think the amount of gamers is going to start decreasing anytime soon. He asked about AAA gaming, right? Am I misremembering? Didn't he say AAA? Do you think Sony will respond to the announcement with maybe some plans for a Bloodborne remaster or remake? It's crazy how anything that happens in gaming is immediately like, well, what does this mean for Bloodborne? Do you think we're going to see something from Bloodborne? I'm sorry to say, Peyton, I don't think so. The only thing we might see from Sony as a response to this is them increasing the price of their games. It's not going to be good news. There's nothing good that comes from this. Oh, I thought I still had the pricing one pulled up. This is just their paid downloadable tour. Thoughts on Duskbloods being an 8-player PvPvE multiplayer game? I don't love that. I really don't love that, but I still have not been let down by FromSoft, and the trailer was very cool. And apparently a lot of people really like Night Rain, which I'm also skeptical of for the same reason, but we'll see. Gaming boycotts never work. No gamers are ever actually going to boycott the games that interest them. That's been proven time and time again, so Nintendo's going to do just fine, no doubt. The only people that won't be buying the Nintendo games are the ones that actually just cannot afford spending $80 on them. Because it's fucking crazy expensive, but no one's actually going to boycott it off principle. Thoughts on the Silksong 2025 window? As I said earlier, and as I will say until that game actually releases, I don't believe it. We had the exact same shit happen when Phil Spencer said, everything you just saw is releasing within a year, and Silksong was shown there. And Silksong did not release within a year. It's been fucking 3 years since that, so I will believe it when it actually is being played by me.